why not? And I think I'm gonna go over both the mods I'm using and some of the mods that I've used before that I really like. So I wanted to make the game a little more challenging and a little more immersive this time around, because my last couple playthroughs I made my dude too powerful with using mods, and then also not using mods I can get pretty powerful pretty quickly too, just because I really understand how to play Fallout, because I've been playing it since Fallout 3 and New Vegas. And then after I got to about level 30, my first playthrough of this, I was pretty powerful, pretty unbeatable. So I just wanted to challenge it up and, enhance some of the appearance as well. So just go down the list here of the ones I'm using right now. I'm not very good with the load order, so my load order isn't always that great. There's some things that specifically tell you what direction, what order to put the loads in. And for those ones, I do that, but for other ones, I'm not very good, so I tend to have weird glitches and stuff. Things they'll start working, then they won't work, and I don't know if it's the mod itself or it's my load order, but whatever. First thing here, this is just the free fall. This is just something that fixes a bunch of bugs, so I figured why not? Just an unofficial patch. So I figured it made sense to put that on there. I tried the scopes, see-through scopes, but it didn't work. I'm guessing maybe it conflicted with one of my other mods, because I know it works because I've seen videos of people who only have it on PS4 that make mod videos, and they were using this and it was working fine. So I don't know. So I turned this one off. But this right here, this is the big one. This is the one that really makes it challenging. Survival Pro. What it does is it makes it probably more realistic to how it would be, after 200 years of, pretty much no rules. Pretty much most of the characters in the game, most of the NPCs, whether they be enemies or just civilians in settlements, whatnot, 97% of them do not have firearms, so they just don't have weapons. They don't have guns. So most of the people you'll fight will have melee weapons, which in theory makes the game weaker, but not really, because even if you have guns, the problem is, only 3% of enemies have guns, so only 3% of the enemies have ammo. So as far as collecting ammo, there's not a lot of ammo you can collect from this when you kill enemies. And actually, even some of the enemies that have guns, they have very limited ammo. Some enemies, when they die, you'll see they have guns, but they weren't using them because they didn't have any ammo. So that makes it pretty tough. And you think, well, if you have a gun and they don't, then you can just knock them out, just like a firing range. But the thing is, because they have melee, they'll run up on you. If there's 10 enemies, they'll run and surround you real quick and start trying to pummel you. And if you try to run away from them and you have a companion with you, you'll look over and your companion will be on the ground getting beat half to death. So it's pretty cool, and it forces you to get better at melee because you want to conserve bullets, because you don't have a lot of bullets. I mean, some of the other mods I have, added guns, like special guns that go with other stuff, but the thing is, even with that, when the enemies are too close range, sometimes those guns tend to be kind of useless. So if there's someone in front of you, yeah, you can shoot them, but if there's someone on the left and right of you and someone in back of you, and they're all hitting you at the same time, well, that's going to be a challenge, because there's only so much you can do and they're, you know, constantly causing you to, you know, stumble and stagger and shit. So it's hard for you to, you know, catch yourself. This right here is just for sound, more realistic gunfire. So it just makes the guns really loud, just really loud, like a real gun pretty much. And, you know, like when I'm recording videos like this, which I've been, you know, streaming, broadcasting a lot more, it's really hard on the ears sometimes, because I'm hearing these loud, realistic guns in my headset. And when I don't have my headset on, if I'm playing at night and my girlfriend's trying to sleep, you know, then I find myself trying to have to turn the volume down because it's so loud that it just, you know, I'm afraid it's going to wake her up. This right here, real Molotov behavior, or more realistic Molotov behavior. It just makes the enemies act more realistic when they get hit with the Molotov. So, you know, they'll start running away and start panicking. Instead of, you know, sometimes in the base game, you'll throw a Molotov at somebody. Sometimes they'll panic and freak out, but sometimes they'll just keep running at you. And also, if they have guns, they'll keep shooting at you. But this one, it'll drop their guns. They'll start panicking. Things like that. You know, so it makes it more realistic. Got this one too. I was hesitant on getting this one just because I didn't want to make the game too powerful, but I don't use power armor that often because I'm not a fan of the HUD. So I figured it's cool, and plus it makes more sense because sometimes with power armor on, whether it's enemies I'm fighting or myself, sometimes I still feel like it's not that powerful, because even though sometimes even before the power armor is failed, I'm still losing damage, and or I'm getting knocked back a lot. So this just takes away the stagger with certain paint jobs. So, you know, with military and I think hot rod, when people start hitting you, you don't stagger, so you're like a walking tank, like an actual walking tank. This right here is a pretty cool one. At first, I didn't know if I wanted to keep it, but it grew on me. It just makes everything sound more realistic. So the sound effects is like you're there. I started getting annoyed with it at first because all the footsteps, you know, when I was creeping around and all that stuff, I'm like, what the heck? Why is it so damn loud? But it's just supposed to be realistic. But it might not be for everyone, but I think it's pretty cool. It's grown on me. I think I might probably just, every time I use mods, I'm probably just going to use this because it helps with immersion. But it's probably not for everyone, because like when you're at settlements and people were hammering and building and all that stuff, I mean, it sounds like someone's actually standing right next to you hammering, especially if you have a headset on. So it's pretty crazy. And all the enemies, they sound more like the ghouls. They sound freaky as hell. Pretty much any kind of monster creature that's not a humanoid. Well, other than ghouls. Ghouls are humanoids, but they're more like monsters in behavior. The way they sound is just more creepy. It's just more uneasy and realistic. This right here, this just makes the water graphics better. Pretty much it makes majority of the water graphics, with the exception of areas where there's a bunch of rads in it. If it's not like overly radiated water, it makes it look more like the water in the Institute, so the water's real clean, more realistic. It's pretty cool. So you got all this nice looking water everywhere, and it makes the graphics look so much better. Realistic death physics. This is pretty cool, so enemies don't just be always flying away and doing backflips or looking all janky. This just makes it where the enemies just fall stiff. They just go into rigor mortis when they die, pretty much. So, you know, some enemies in the base game, like they'll fly in like crazy ways, doing backflips and flying all the way and just crazy things. I mean, a lot of them do die realistically, but not all of them. But this balances out where it's more realistic. It's pretty cool. This right here, this is one of my favorites. This definitely helps with the immersion, because one thing that kind of annoyed me with the base game is that when you kill enemies, you just walk right through them. So, I mean, even though you see them there, it's like they're not there. So you kill a, super mutant, a modeler, queen, a death claw, anything, there's just this big body, but you can just walk right through it, so it has no impact, even though you killed it. This right here, all the bodies have corpse collision, so you bump into them and it's like realistic. So if you're fighting somewhere and there's a whole bunch of enemies and the body starts stacking up, you might have to jump through them because you can't walk through them. And it makes it real crazy. There's been some times where I'm fighting ghouls and there's a whole bunch of ghouls coming, and I'll start just taking them out one by one in front of me, and then I'll try to run away because there's other ones, and I can't move because I'm trying to run, but there's a bunch of bodies around me, so I gotta jump. It just makes the gameplay, it makes it more realistic, makes it crazier. And it just reminds me, there's this one part where I was fighting gunners in this church in Quincy, in the base game, and I was like in the top of the church in this rounded stairwell, and I just kept shooting a whole bunch of them. I mean, it was a crazy battle, and shot a whole bunch of them. There's bodies everywhere, but I was just able to walk through them, and I didn't like that. So this makes it where it's like crazy, and it kind of reminds me of like certain movies when there's bodies everywhere, like a Tarantino movie, or like the episode of Game of Thrones when there was all them bodies, you know, when there was that Battle of the Bastards. It's pretty crazy. This right here, you know, better graphics and weather. I definitely see the graphics and the weather thing. It makes the weather last longer. In the base game, weather does not last very long. So if there's a rad storm and you're trying to get away from the rad storm, you just make your guy take a nap or sit on a couch for an hour, and then it's over. But this right here, sometimes it's short, but a lot of times it'll be long. Rain, rad storms, fog, whatever. Sunny weather. You know, it can go on for hours. Hours as far as, you know, the game time is concerned. Not like real hours, luckily. I mean, that would be crazy, but it's pretty cool. This right here, this just adds like some Mad Max type bus brigade to the Starlight drive-in, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome, and it puts a bunch of motorcycles all over the place where you can just, you know, you interact with the motorcycle, and then you hear a motorcycle sound, and it like supposed to drive you to the bus stop. So that's pretty cool. To the bus brigade, I should say. There's just a bunch of buses making a wall around the drive-in. Pretty cool. This right here, I'm not sure if I'm going to turn this on or not. I turned it on before, but it makes the game real slow. It's pretty cool. It makes the castle look really good. But one of the doors, there's a loading screen, like on one side. That's actually the side where the wall's broken down and you just walk through. Now the other side, with that already has a door, regardless, there's no loading screen with there, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to use it or not. I feel like I want to use something for the castle, but I'm not sure if I want to use this or not. This right here, this just extends Finch Farm. I have not unlocked it yet because I have not done their mission yet. I've been requested to do their mission, but I haven't done it yet. But I think that's gonna be cool. You know, adds more, you know, to the bridge above, so that's cool. This right here, this is pretty cool. It makes the boathouse pretty much fixed up. There's actually a boat there. There is a wall made out of bushes that surrounds it. There's a lot of nice green grass, and it's pretty awesome. It looks really good. So that way you don't have to do too much work into it. Just minimal. This right here, this is a real popular one. You'll see lots of videos. Anyone that talks about mods for Fallout on YouTube just creates an extra player home that's near Sanctuary. You know, you just go right beside it, and there's this indoor player home that's really nice. There's water underneath. It's kind of like almost like Institute. It's kind of like they use assets of the Institute and you know, warehouses and like vaults all together, and it looks real nice. It's one of the nicest settlement ones. Real nice. One of the ones that people were surprised was on PlayStation 4. But there's a lot of good assets on PlayStation 4 for some of these mods. I mean, you can't compare it too much to the PC and the Xbox. I know a lot of people want to complain about that, but there's some pretty good mods here, and there's definitely a lot of good settlement mods, and this is one of them. This is one of the best ones. This right here, I have not seen this one yet, but it cleans up Jamaica Plains, which that should be cool, because Jamaica Plains has potential to be real nice, but it's pretty damn messy when you get there, so I'm looking forward to it. This is a pretty good one. Makes Sunshine Tidings pretty nice. It doesn't necessarily fix the houses up, it just fixes the land around it. So there's a lot of grass, just like the Taffington Boathouse. There's a wall around it made of bushes, and there's also like a door, like a junk door, like a junk gate. That's pretty cool, and I really enjoy it. This right here, Spectacle Island. Haven't used this one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Make Spectacle Island clean, because Spectacle Island is one of my favorite places to make a settlement. My first playthrough, I made like a really, really good settlement there. But you know, the bumpy landscape, you know, it makes it a little annoying, a little frustrating. But I'm looking forward to this one. Let's see, this one, the Warwick Homes, same idea. You know, just by the thing of this, I think these are made by the same author. I would just imagine just from the little thumbnail. This one too. This one's really good. It adds escalators to both sides of the airport. It adds a ceiling. It makes it real clean. I mean, it's pretty good, because the airport always had so much potential, but just the way it's set up, it's like, it just you know, it was kind of, I feel like it was kind of lost potential, because you couldn't really do things too high up, and it was too dirty, and even when you tried to like make it look clean, it still just didn't look right. But it's a pretty good amount of space, so and it adds walls. There's walls all the way around it. It's like an indoor place, so that's pretty cool. I really enjoy that one. This right here, I'm guessing it's like one of the other ones I'm using. I'm using one for Sanctuary Estates. I have not been to Coastal Cottage yet in this playthrough, but I imagine this one pretty good. I saw videos for it. It looks really nice. Makes like a mansion type house. Let's see, this right here, I guess this is kind of like the one at the drive-in, but it's at this Murkwater. But I've not been there yet. I imagine it's the same thing, same idea. All the pictures for it look about the same, but this one's out like in a swamp area, so that's pretty cool. You know, because you know, a swamp settlement, it would be challenging to do something good with by itself, and this I'm sure will help improve it. This right here just adds haircuts. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It adds haircuts that need to be unlocked, and also I think it adds like children's haircuts and things. So this right here, this makes it where you can make it do more muscular. I'm into weightlifting and bodybuilding, so I like having a muscle up dude. That's pretty simple. This right here, this is one that makes Diamond City pretty nice. It makes it real nice. Makes it look like an actual city and not just some shanty town like it does in the base game. Like they really tried. You know, I'd recommend anyone who likes Diamond City but wants to make it look better to give this one a try. Sometimes it causes lag, so I don't know if you'd want to keep it, but I like it. It's pretty enjoyable to me. This right here, I don't think I've been here. Well, yes, I have. Yeah, I have. I think this is the one by Diamond City. Let me see. Is this the one by Diamond City? Where is this at? It says something. Yeah. This is right outside of Diamond City. So, you know, some of the buildings that's right when you walk out the door, it's right out there. So, yeah, this is a pretty good one. So you have your own player home there. You know, I mean, yeah, you can buy a player home in Diamond City, but, you know, that one's whatever. This is pretty cool. And it's real nice. It kind of reminds you of, shoot, I'm trying to think of that family. The rich family that's immoral on here. The Cabot. Yeah, the Cabot family. The setup of it kind of reminds you of that. I mean, it's a little different, but it looks like they use a lot of the same assets. So it's real nice and clean. Looks like pre-war. Let's see. This right here opens up some of the places. I think mostly, if not all, in what's that place called? That first town you go to when you meet the Minutemen. It basically opens up more buildings. So I mean, that's pretty much what that is. There's more places to go indoors. Oh yeah, Concord, that's what it is. It opens up more of Concord. This adds a hidden bunker somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, this is a pretty cool one. It's real nice, real neat. Kind of uses a lot of vault tech assets, and also uses you know, some of the, you know, just some pre-war assets. And there's a lot of power armor, and there's some extra weapons things in there. It's pretty cool. It's actually real nice, and it helps with some of the other mods I'm using, which causes all these enemies. So there's a ton of enemies in that area. Built some of these other mods, so it's cool when I was running there, I could just run inside my own bunker. This is just a simple one. Doesn't really help with gameplay. I just figured it's harmless, and it would be more entertaining. You can add clothes to your automatron robots. Add like hats and I think like monocles and bow ties and shit. So why not? I'll give it a shot. I haven't done the automatron yet. I'm going to be doing that soon, maybe even today, for this playthrough. So I figured why not add that. This right here is a simple one. It doesn't really add any pros or cons as far as like gameplay, but it's just cool looking. It makes the boxing gloves look chrome. So the boxing gloves look like metal. It's look chrome. And because of the one mod, the Survival Pro mod I have, a lot of people, you know, don't have guns. They have all kinds of other weapons. So one of the things they have, a lot of people have boxing gloves. So you see a lot of raiders and gunners and shit running around with silver boxing gloves trying to hit you. It's pretty funny. Rad shades. This just makes glow-in-the-dark shades. If your science is up, you can craft them. If not, you can go get some from one of them stores. The hell's that store called? Let me see. Backstreet Apparel, yeah. Yeah, there'll be some automatically there, but then you can build them if your science is up. My science ain't up that high right now in this playthrough. Buffed Minutemen. This just makes the Minutemen tougher. Pretty much, you know, instead of because before the Minutemen were kind of weak, and you know, that was a little bit annoying. So it's like if you see the Minutemen fighting anyone else, whether it be raiders, Mirelurks, anything, gunners, anything, they always seemed weak as hell. Like they couldn't really hold their own that well. So this makes it better. So they can hold their own. I think this just adds some caps somewhere. Let me see. I guess it's, let's see, Striker Rich and Commonwealth find sale near Abernathy Farm. Are they worth anything? Yeah, I guess it just adds caps. This adds exotic enemies. So there's just like more enemies, and this is crazy because as soon as I got out the vault and my guy was low leveled, I was getting attacked by freaking vault survivors. But it adds all kinds of characters. Depending, yeah, I got escape vault boys. But there's all these different things. Longshoremen. There's a whole bunch of them over by like near the airport and near the water. And there's the baseball champions. There's people with baseball costumes, and they have a freaking they have the World Series baseball bat, so they can send you flying. I got sent flying in power armor. Shit was crazy. But this definitely makes the game more challenging, which is what I was trying to do. This right here, this also makes it more challenging. There's a bunch more NPCs that just kind of wander around. Let me see. Yeah, there's just adds a whole bunch more. And there was one time that was real funny. I was trying to hide out, trying to sneak around some area, and those were just a group of ghouls just strolling down the street, just strolling down like a pathway. Just like, instead of just hanging out in the area like they normally do, they were just strolling, like a group of them. It looked pretty different. But there's a lot of enemies that do that. So that's pretty cool. This right here, it has mythic creatures. Creatures named after, famous creatures from other franchises, movies, and myths and things like that. So, you see at the bottom, they got Frankenstein. They got E.T., which E.T. is just an alien. I mean, really, the assets that they use are just assets that's already in the game, so they don't really look all that special. But they're like legendary. So pretty cool. Let's see, man. Yeah, this just like buffs up the Institute. So, Institute stronger. This right here, you can get children and animals to your settlement. So when you recruit, children will show up, and animals. So dogs and cats, all that, they'll show up. It's pretty nice. Adds extra. This right here just makes it where the casings that come out of your guns, so any of your shells or whatever, they'll stay on the ground for a while. So if you're using a minigun and stuff shooting everywhere, there's a bunch of casings flying up, they don't just disappear. If you look on the ground, you can see it. So it adds immersion, which I think is pretty cool. It's right here, NPC travels. It just adds more NPCs that travel around. And looks like adds 142. So, that makes more challenge to it. There's a... Let me see. This right here, actually... Yeah, there's some enemies and some are not enemies. But you'll just see a whole bunch of different ones. The thing that's crazy is, like, there'll be some enemies out of place. Like, there'll be... there kept being death claws at the freaking Boston airport. So that was pretty crazy. So you just saw the Brotherhood of Steel fighting death claws all over the damn place. It was pretty crazy. Curse of Darkness. This makes it where at night the ghouls they're like more in abundance and are more harder to fight. So it adds like they got like some special glow on them. Looks like between like midnight and 5:59. They're faster. They do more damage. They're a lot harder. And if you kill them, they'll explode, so you don't want to be close to them. You can use other mods with it, but there's other ghoul mods you can use that's recommended to use with it. But so I use this. So ghouls of the Commonwealth. There's way more ghouls. There's ghouls that they instantly at like most settlements, so you got to keep getting rid of them. And they're just all over the city, so there'll be all kinds of... It causes a lot of craziness. It causes some battle royale action, so... There's already all these extra NPCs, and then you got all these extra ghouls. So, you'll go somewhere and there'll be some gunners. And then there'll be some extra NPCs from, some other mods, and then there'll be a bunch of ghouls, so sometimes I don't even have to fight. I'll just like run through and the enemies will start fighting each other. It's pretty crazy. Let's see this. What did I get here? Oh yeah, this turns Concord into, it's just, there's like 200 ghouls just in there. I tried going there once. That was insanity. Like, man, it slows the game down though. So, but it's pretty crazy. This is a pretty cool one. Just separate coats. You can get bomber jackets and get Elder Maximus coat, but in the game, with any outfits with that, it comes with a whole outfit. This right here is just the coats by itself, so you can put the coats over top of your clothes. The only problem, there's limited clothes you can put it over top of that you won't see like things glitching through it. So there's some texture glitch. So, but it's still nice. It's a nice one to have. This is a cool one. Snipers of the Commonwealth. It adds snipers from all the major factions, and also it creates some extra factions. So there's gunner snipers. There's a new group called survivors. You know, they don't really trust anybody. There's the Brotherhood of Steel. They have snipers. So as long as you go with the Brotherhood of Steel, they're cool. Let's see. It looks like there's some other sniper that's based on Brotherhood of Steel. I mean, not Brotherhood of Steel. They're based on something from Borderlands. Let's see. And now he is hunting every single synth. So someone is hunting synths. And then there's some other one. Hostile only. The player can kill him. So this one is only hostile to you. There's. I mean, I don't want to go. There's all kinds of different ones. Yeah, just a bunch of extra ones. Mythic monsters, this is kind of like one of the other ones. Add some extra creatures. Usually with assets from the game, but they just change the names. Like the Terminator's just some sort of robot with a bunch of things connected to it. But there's just all these different extra high-powered creatures. Kindle Apartment. This is a pretty good one. It creates like a sewer system that helps you travel around, and it also gives you this really nice apartment. The only problem is I was able to go through it a few times, but then the building kind of glitched and went back to its original shape, so I can't be in the apartment. So that's a little frustrating because there's a bunch of rubble in the apartment. So if I try to go there, it just continually loads into it. Gives me an error message, so that kind of sucks. Scrap that settlement. I'd recommend anyone that likes to do settlements to have this one or one like it. There's multiple versions of it, but this is a pretty cool one because it helps. You can scrap all the extra nonsense that you don't need, all kinds of, just rubble and trash and stuff that you couldn't before, and extra bushes and leaves and stuff. So that way you can actually make your settlement clean. Sanctuary Hills Rebuild. The only reason I did this is because I got this other mod called Sanctuary Estates, which is really nice, but the problem is basically it makes Sanctuary into like this rich area with like all these like mansions, like glass like houses and stuff, and like elevators. But the problem is, for whatever reason, I can't figure out why. I tried looking online about it, but and when I look at other people some says it works fine, some says theirs messes up like mine is. For whatever reason, there is all these old assets. So the settlement that's already there, the broken down Sanctuary Hills that's already there, it glitches through houses. So this one I used in like previous playthroughs to make Sanctuary Hill really nice, but also you can scrap the houses. Even though the nice houses they put there, you can scrap them. It just cleans it up. It doesn't do anything. So I added this with the other one because there was so many houses glitching through the other mods, so that way I could scrap the original sanctuary houses to go with this other one. This right here, this just adds things to the, to the lighting effects and the sound effects. Well, actually, I think it's just the lighting, but it's pretty cool. The shadows are definitely much better, and I definitely notice it. This makes the Brotherhood of Steel more powerful. Like, they're a lot more powerful, and you don't see the vertibirds crash. I mean, the vertibirds just do not crash. If they're having a firefight with someone, they're gonna keep going. This is the other sanctuary when I was talking about sanctuary estates. This makes sanctuary real nice, like a rich upscale neighborhood. This is like one of my favorites. It's just the glitches that go with it. So you gotta, if you glitch, you might have to figure out some other mod to go with it that can help you overcome the glitches. And that's pretty much it for the ones I'm using. Let me see. And then got some favorites here. Let's see my favorites. I think most of these are ones I went over. Good portion of them. Didn't go over this. This is USO. It's a clothing mod, but if you know about mods, you know about that. It pretty much adds all kinds of extra stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of USO stuff. I don't think I really need to go too much over these other ones because I think most of them are pretty. This is a pretty cool one. This one adds like these like mythic type weapons and stuff. But yeah, I guess I've been doing this one for a while. So I just wanted to go over what I have, let people see what I have, and yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and then I added some favorite. I'm gonna try this Kindle Apartments. That's actually made from the same person that made the Sanctuary Estates. It looks pretty cool, but I got so many mods in this game now. It's just kind of overdoing it. I was gonna use this, but I didn't want to make my dudes too powerful. So, but yeah, I got all kinds of extra stuff. This like it's one if you like having an unlimited resource, I have to work for it, but I'll use that. But yeah. Got all kinds of extra ones, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But just wanted to go over that, and I'm gonna do a gameplay video in a second here. So if someone is watching or has watched, whether you're watching this in real time or you're watching it after the fact, I'm gonna do a gameplay video right after that. So alright, LUKELEE79's, take care, and I'll be coming back in a moment.